And as Wednesday's NewsNation debate nears, the Republican candidates are prepping for the discussion of the most important issues. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has stayed true to his vow to visit all 99 counties in Iowa, and he is presenting himself as an alternative to frontrunner former President Donald Trump. DeSantis is also facing a growing challenge from former governor of South Carolina, Nikki Haley. Pat Brady, former chairman of the Illinois Republican Party, with us now to talk more about it, and we'll discuss the debate in a moment. But first, 99 counties, right? This is sort of from the old playbook of politics, but times are different now. Does it still have the same impact, the door knocking, the handshaking across the state of Iowa ahead of the caucus?
Yeah, it does. It does everywhere. I know it's a different era than I grew up in, but the most important thing you can do as a candidate is to get out and shake hands, press the flesh, and talk to people. And it's the same in New Hampshire, and it'll be the same in South Carolina. That never changes, and that's a good move to do the Grassley strategy to hit the whole state. And it's a big state to hit, so it's a big accomplishment for Governor DeSantis. Did
DeSantis miss an opportunity early on, though, in differentiating himself from Trump? Is it too late to do so now?
Wednesday night's debate, and congratulations to NewsNation, by the way, I think is do or die for Governor DeSantis. He kind of banked everything on being the front runner, getting that Trump vote, which requires him to win in Iowa. And right now, if you look at all the averages of the polling, if you believe the polls, he's in third place. And if he comes third place out of Iowa, I think his campaign is done because he won't do as well in New Hampshire. And then they go to South Carolina, which is Nikki Haley's home state. So I think the most pressure of any of these candidates is on Governor DeSantis in this debate to have some kind of breakout moment that we haven't seen so far, because he's really just directionally been going down the last 4 or 5 months.
Right. And speaking of Nikki Haley, she's seen a lot of momentum. She's gotten some big endorsements as of late. Is that enough to close the gap, get her out of the shadow of the former president?
Yeah, and if you look at the first 2 or 3 states, and these are sequential, right? So you go Iowa, where the former president's under 50%, and the vote is still split amongst the other candidates. If she does get second place in Iowa, she can claim victory like Bill Clinton did in 1992. I know you're too young to remember that, Marni, but that's when he
Not quite.
came out, even though he got second place and won. They go to New Hampshire, and she's got a good shot, I think, at actually winning or getting a good second in New Hampshire. Then they go down to South Carolina, her home state, and DeSantis likely out after Iowa, Christie potentially out after New Hampshire. You go to South Carolina, and it's just the former president and the former governor, and that'll be quite a battle.
Foreign policy will be one of the big issues that will be talked about at the debate, given the wars in Ukraine and also in Israel right now. What are you going to be looking for from each of these candidates to break away?
Well, this plays to former Ambassador Haley better than any of the candidates, and she's head and shoulders above the rest of them, other than maybe Governor Christie, which I don't think he made the stage for this one. But Nikki Haley is by far the most fluent and the most eloquent in articulating the conservative position towards foreign policy. And hopefully, I think all these candidates, at least I hope they will, point out the Democrats have real problems with this war in Israel within their own caucus. People within the Democratic Party don't agree with what the president's doing, don't agree with the war. So I think Wednesday night's a great opportunity particularly for former Ambassador Haley, to show the country what conservative foreign and national security policy will look like if she's president.
What about other hot button issues like abortion? That will take center in terms of topics on Wednesday as well. What do they need to say and do differently than they have in previous debates on this topic?
I went to the first debate here in Milwaukee, and the breakout moment for Nikki Haley is when she gave her answer on abortion as a woman to talk about, hey, I'm 100% pro-life, but we cannot demonize women on the issue. I can't tell the number of people in the polls I've read that really like that answer, whether you agree or disagree on abortion. You have to treat this issue very carefully and not demonize women. And I think that's the message that all the Republican candidates should be following, whether they're pro-life or not. That message to me just seems to resonate with the suburban voters, which as Republicans, let's face it, we lost a lot of suburban women during the Trump years. We need to win them back if we're ever going to be a governing majority.
This is make or break really for all of the candidates right now, but particularly for Vivek Ramaswamy on this debate stage. What do you expect from him?
Probably the same stuff. He's had a different personality every time he showed up, and he's at 3 or 4%. He's going nowhere. I think right now he's just auditioning to be President Trump if he wins the nomination to be his vice president. But there's really no reason. He's trying to take over the Trump vote. It's just never worked, because the reality is the more people see him, the less they like him, which is a real bad spot to be in. if you're running for political office, but he has the resources to keep going, and he likely will. I think he likes the attention, but his campaign's been kind of a bust.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.